everyone, this is Julie with You to Be Healthy with our Tuesday Tips at 10, and I did it again. When I started the camera, it was facing the drawings my son made for me on the wall, so apologize for that. But thank you for joining us today. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about how to approach a doctor visit. And I have a few notes here to keep me on track, but so if you see me glancing away, that's what that is. But basically, I wanted to give a few tips what to take with you and how to approach a doctor visit, especially when you're going to a doctor visit concerning a really big health scare. So first thing when we get the news that, hey, we need to see our doctor or maybe see a specialist because we've gotten some test results back and they're kind of scary or they're a little unsure of it, we can get really scared and get kind of anxious, and it can be very confusing. It can all this information can be coming at us very quickly, and so we kind of need a little bit of a game plan on how to approach these visits so we can get the most out of them and make sure that we get the best care possible. The important thing is to understand everything, and when you're dealing with a health scare, it's going to be really confusing, and again, a lot of information coming at you, and you want to make sure you understand everything, and you want to make sure you get your questions answered. So I highly recommend taking a notebook with you, and before your visit, as a question pops into your mind, write it down in the notebook, and make sure to leave plenty of room to write down your answers. So you're going to have your notebook and you're going to write down the questions that come into your mind throughout the week before your visit, and you want to make sure you leave plenty of room to write the answers down. And then, as questions come up during the visit, write those answers down. If the doctor comes up with something new, write those down. That's why taking a notebook is so very important, especially if you are maybe the support person going with an elderly relative. So if you have a relative who's elderly and they're facing a severe, health challenge, and you're going there, you're driving them to the appointment, take a notebook yourself with some questions that may have popped into your mind, and write those answers down, so later on, when they're kind of unsure of what the doctor said, you can refer back to those notes. The other thing I also recommend is when you're writing your answers down in your notebook, make sure you understand them. A lot of people are like, they'll just such in a hurry to jot them down because they don't want to waste the doctor's time that they don't quite fully grasp what they're writing. So as you're writing them down, make sure they're clear to you, and maybe even repeat them back to the doctor so that you didn't misunderstand them. Because when you're dealing with a lot of information, it's really easy to get confused. So you want to make sure that you're writing down not only what he's saying, but that you understand what you're writing. Because later on you're going to go, well, this doesn't make any sense. And then you're having to call the office and it's a big, confusion. So also, make sure you know what to do next. So if further tests are needed, find out and write down what those tests are, how they're done. Is it a blood test? Is it some type of film like x-rays, CAT scans, whatever? Write those down as well. And why? Why does he want them? Because the insurance company isn't the only person wanting to know. The other reason is you want to understand why he's suggesting these further tests. And then you want to ask, when can you expect the results? And then after he tells you, well, you can expect them or what have you. Hi, Annie. We want to also know who, when I call the office to get the results, who is maybe best person to ask for? Is it Susan? Is it Vicky? Is it Terry? Who do I ask for that might be able to take the time to explain what the results are and what I need to do next? Because sometimes when you just call the general office, you're just going to get the general receptionist and she's just going to give you to whomever. But the doctor has his kind of like favorites that he might say, oh yeah, make sure you ask for Susan or whoever, and she'll be able to relay the results, in my opinion. The other thing I want to let you know is when you're in a visit, especially a visit that is a serious health issue, do not let the doctor rush you. We know doctors are busy and they kind of have that authoritative stance to them, but they work for you, and you are their patient, and they are your partner, but they're not a dictator. Okay? Make sure you're taking the time to understand everything they're telling you, that they take the time to answer your questions. And if they feel like, oh, we don't have time to answer your questions, start second guessing your choice of doctors, because they should allow enough time to answer all your questions. And if they make you feel rushed, or they belittle you, or make you feel like your questions are invalid, they're not the best partner you need to get you through this health issue. Okay, so let that sink in, that you are very important. Your questions are very important. There is no stupid question out there. So don't ever let them make you feel that you are a bother or an annoyance. Okay, that's very, very important. Also, if you are given a very scary, hi Anita, a very scary health result, health test results, get a second and even third opinion before you do any kind of treatment, before you do any major treatment that may or may not have an ill effect on you, whether it be surgery or some type of other treatment. A good doctor will not be offended when you say, I'm going to take what you have given me, I'm going to do my own research, and I'm going to get a second or maybe possibly a third opinion, and then I will let you or your office know on how I want to proceed. If a doctor gets offended at that, then he has the problem or she has a problem, and maybe you need to definitely get that second and third opinion. Never, ever go through a major medical procedure without getting a second and possibly third opinion. And I don't recommend asking your doctor for referrals, because he's just going to refer you to his buddy. And most doctors, when they're colleagues, they're not going to go against the first person. I suggest getting out there on social media, asking your contacts, your friends, your family, anyone who might have been through something similar, who their doctor was. And you can cross-reference them to see if they're in your insurance, and see if they're happy with their treatment. The best referrals is from people you know. So get with someone that maybe has been through something similar surgery, that type of thing, and see what their experience was, and maybe go see their doctor if you can. If you can't find anyone, call your insurance company. Do research on the doctors. Just put it out there in Google land and ask. And certainly you'll start getting people's opinions like, oh, this doctor was great. He helped me so much. I highly recommend him. So get your second and third opinion. Ask friends and family or even social media for suggestions for referrals. Then study on your own. Become an expert in your health issue. If you're facing breast cancer, become an expert in breast cancer. Go out there and do more than just Google it. Go out there and look for trusted sources of information, not just what somebody wrote in a blog somewhere. You want trusted information, and you want to become an expert. You want to get up to date on the latest studies. You want to get up to date on the latest treatments. What's working for some, what's not working for some. Look for what is wrong with the treatment. A lot of times, especially in commercials, they're like, oh, it's a wonder miracle. Well, and 6 months later, you see the lawyer ads for all the wonder miracle drug that now everybody's dropping dead from. So do your research. Become an expert in your health issue. Whether it's breast cancer, whether it's colon cancer, whether it's arthritis, whether it's carpal tunnel, whatever you're facing, become an expert, because ultimately you and you alone are responsible for your health. Not your doctor, not your pharmacist, not your mom, you. And if you don't take the time to do the research, then it's on you. And that leads me kind of into the other thing is your doctor is your partner. He's there, he's trained to help you when your health fails you or when you get injured. He is not responsible for your health. You are. Every choice you make, everything you eat, every exercise you do or do not do is on you. And I don't mean that to be mean, but we are responsible for our own health, not anyone else. So take the time to learn what about your health condition, learn what you can do, learn what your doctor can do, and then work as a partner. Okay? He brings the medical side, you bring what you can do. Ask him, what can I do? He's going to tell you, a good doctor will tell you, okay, you need to start eating this and not eating that. You need to do these type of exercises, but not these. Okay? Work with together. Also, bring someone with you if you can, especially if it's something very involved. Your spouse, your mom, your sister, a neighbor, whomever. Bring someone with you. And it's kind of nice to have that second person because they're going to think of things that you didn't. And they'll be like, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense to me either. Can you clarify that? Or, oh, what about this? And you'll be like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Thank you. Okay? So that's it. That's all I have for today. But down below, I'm going to put in a resource that I like to share with people that kind of gives a little bit of information about nutrition and some of the things your doctor wasn't taught. You know, doctors go to learn about illness and disease and how to treat it and how to treat injuries. They don't have time in their curriculum to learn how to prevent these things. They're there to help you, again, after the cause. Your job is to take care of yourself before you get sick, so to prevent as long as possible from getting sick. So I'm going to put that down in a resource. That's my free giveaway for today. I hope you'll share this with your friends and family. And as always, I'm here if you have any questions, and I wish you all the best of health. Till next time. Oh, don't forget to vote. Take care.